Winston, good to see you. I'm so excited about today's topic. Should I buy that vacation home and how should I pay for it? Summer is winding down. A lot of us enjoy time away, renting a lake, beach, or mountain home. So we know owning real estate is the key to generational wealth. So now is a good time to talk through buying versus renting that vacation home. What questions should I be considering before I buy another house?
Well, when you say, should I buy another house, do you have your first house paid for? That's the first thing that would come to my mind. Before I go taking on another debt, it's probably a higher interest rate environment and an already accelerated value because you're not getting anything for cheap right now. That's for darn sure. Make sure home base is paid for first before you venture into carrying another load on your shoulders.
Okay, so let's talk through some of the pros and cons. And I found this list, which I thought was pretty interesting, breaking it down. What do you think, Winston?
It's a great little list. We look at the pros of saving money on vacations, take more frequent vacations. You can resell the house, you can rent out the house, receive tax breaks. A lot of these things, though, when you look at them, they can be more of a justification than a reality. Okay,
hmm
and the main thing that I could speak to about the pros of a vacation home, because we've had one for quite a few years, is what it does for your family. And
Right.
if you have young kids, or maybe even you have grandkids, and you want this vacation home, it's not about investment. It's about quality of life. It's about the family experience. It's about memories, and those are priceless.
hmm And you wanted to share that you did have a home when your kids were young and you wouldn't trade it for the world, but it wasn't necessarily a good investment.
No, we owned a condominium in downtown San Diego. It was a absolutely stunningly beautiful place, 25th floor in a high-rise building. The taxes in California on a 1,400 square foot two-bedroom condominium cost more than the taxes on my 4,000 square foot
Right.
house on the
Right.
golf course in Phoenix. The Homeowners Association, it was an absolute loser from a financial standpoint. But buddy, let me tell you something. When Friday morning rolled around, everybody was excited about mounting up in the car and taking that 6 hour drive to San Diego and being on the water on the bay. It was absolutely a blast. And the kids still talk about it today.
Right. What are some of the unforeseen cons, though?
Well, what happens is this. You get a house or you own a house and you're like, "Oh, this is my house. I own this house." And then you start asking yourself the question, do I really own the house or does the house own me? And
Yeah.
anybody who's listening to this that owns property knows that property doesn't come for free. There's always something wrong. Always something wrong. The roof's leaking, the gutters are falling off the side of the house, the pool pump. At my house this morning, we were talking before off camera. I go out, my water in my pool's down about 3 or 4 inches, and there's all this water on the ground out by the pool pump. So something let go, and we're sitting here talking about it right now, and I don't even know what the problem is. So I have that in my mind to go home and work on tonight at 5 o'clock.
hmm
There's always something with owning property. One could make the argument that a Verbo is not a bad alternative. Get to go to a lot of different places, and it might wind up not costing you really any more.
Right. Turn the key in the lock and walk away. That's definitely attractive. So
Yes, it
let's
is.
say, though, that I'm going to be an optimist, Winston. I want to buy a vacation home. What's the best way to pay for it? I've heard some people talking about HELOCs lately, home equity line of credit, simply because our primary properties are worth so much right now, but that might not be the best idea.
Well, all you got to do when you look at a HELOC is look at the C in HELOC is credit, home equity line of credit. Credit means debt. And when you look at debt and you say, okay, if it's a 2% loan rate, hey, I'm in, I can handle that. But when I noticed that we have a HELOC available on our property and it's at 11.5%, and I called the company, I said, is there something out of line here? Or is this wrong? No, that's our current rate. So HELOCs can be very expensive, and they can add new debt on your primary property. So if you have that house, if you have your principal residence paid for, ask yourself, do you really want to put a debenture against it? Have a lien against, I should say. So yeah, be careful of HELOCs. I would recommend cash. Now, cash, maybe you don't get the house, the dream house on the lake. But you know what? The kids don't care about the dream house. You do. And if it's about memories, we were joking. Get yourself a nice camper van and go sit down by the water's edge. That can be just as important in the eyes of the kids as $1 million lake house.
Right, right. I always love talking to you, Winston, because it's clear how you are a holistic advisor. There's so much that goes into this. It's not just a financial decision, but also an emotional one. If somebody has questions, though, and they want to talk through the numbers with you, what's the best way to reach you?
602-456-1928. Once again, area code 602-456-1928, or go right there online, winstonandcompanies.com. You can click on schedule an appointment to visit. We'd love to visit with you.
Winston, thank you.
Hey, thank you, Erin. Take care now.